Hello everyone and welcome back to Century of Economy 2026. When we left off, La Monarca had unintentionally been shanghaied by the Cursed, while the rest of the factions continued to get their feet under them. Now, on to the action! El Dorado uses her hoist arm to explore Pride Rock, while the Virtuous Wind sets up a patrol of the waters, keeping a watchful eye on the Eastern Sea. In the northeast, the pirates continue to dodge icebergs and run gold, slowly growing their fleet. At the end of their turn, the pirates launch several ships at their home island. Flying King with Nicholas Nautilus and Explorer, Victory with Helmsman, Cutlass with Captain, Helmsman, Fireshot, and Doubleshot, and Knife's Edge with linked Captain Fletcher and a Helmsman. Fighting against the current, the Cheyenne looks to eliminate the various icebergs around the American home island. The Americans also sort out some unique treasures with their docked ships. With fast base speeds and some assistance from the current, the Spirit and Columbia dock at Tutorial Island and load food. Cutting across the current in a neutral manner, the Providence docks at the Gold Island to the west, taking all of the coins there. Using the Mask of Wisdom to submerge, the Frontier is able to access the inside of the lagoon. The Annapolis enters the shallow water around the Twin Islands and makes land there. She explores, finding several coins and the lumber resource, a resource the Americans have been seeking. With an extra action, the Cheyenne clears away the ice at the American home island. The Columbia receives an extra action as well, to return home with food, which is used to launch the Mississippi with an oarsman and purchase a town upgrade. The Bon Marin and Le Pic reach one of the far beaches of Poseidon's Eye, finding several coins and metals. Le Pic already has a town upgrade with her, ready to claim the island for the French. An iceberg hits the Destiny's bounty. Kalos crawls onto the lumber island the Cursed have found and settles in. His movement bonus will be quite handy to send ships back to the home island. At their home island, several of the canoes in the Dark Pact dock, unloading medicine. La Monarca slides in between the Pestilence and the native canoe. Davy Jones sends a missive to the Spanish, outlining the conditions that must be met in exchange for the return of La Monarca. Jones has been copying the ability of Kalos, speeding ships along their way to Kanohi Island. Here, the Sea Duck, Celestin, and Sea Monkey all dock and load the valuable resource. At the end of their turn, the Cursed spend most of their gold and launch the Guishan, with Headhunter, Captain, Helmsman, Skell, and 11 oarsmen, and the Urchin. At Fort Brompton, the Mobilist loads the enemy of the State UT from the Hermes Sandals, allowing the speedy English ship to once again dock at her home island. A wide shot of English waters, a trade route has been established to the far-flung Minerals Island. Ships catch the current to get there, and then circle back outside of it. The Dover and King Edward continue to gather metals from the Pathway Island. At the end of their turn, the English spend a good chunk of gold and expand their gold fleet. Barretto Jr. with Helmsman, Aberdeen Baron with Helmsman, and Lady Provost with Helmsman. All 10 of the turtles make it to the Spanish home island. La Menzahara finds lumber. The Spanish purchase a town and trading port upgrade, as part of their understanding with Davy Jones. Destiny's Bounty and the Fancy maneuver around icebergs and enter Voyanui Bay. Knife's Edge and Cutlass stick close as they begin to patrol pirate waters. Behind them, pirate gold runners return with resources. Several pirate ships dock at Sharktooth to load medicine, currently the most valuable resource. Not stopping to repair, the Dragon, Princess, and Banshee's Cry all make land at Artaka. At the end of their turn, the pirates launch! La Louise with Captain and Helmsman, Revenge with Captain and Helmsman, Plague of the South with Helmsman, Broken Oath with Helmsman, and the Amity with Helmsman. Sailing with the current, the Cheyenne makes good speed and is close to eliminating another iceberg. Harlequin explores her island, finding a Makoki stone, and lost! The Americans place a fog bank, trade current, and a reef. The reef is placed in cursed waters. The Frontier surfaces and explores the Inner Lagoon Island, revealing a veritable treasure trove of gold. Chief among them is the smuggled goods, Evenstar, sunken treasure, and a solid gold 100 value coin. If comboed correctly, the Americans could double and then triple their lowest gold value coin on the frontier. Annapolis is given an extra action and explores another resource island in the shallow waters. She finds food, but also the Hammer of the Mask Maker unique treasure, which forces her to only load 4 coins. This causes her to remove almost every coin and resource on her, save for some unique treasures. At the end of their turn, the Americans expand their home island, purchase some infantry, and launch 2 ships. Carolina with helmsman and oarsman, and USS James Madison with helmsman and oarsman. Slipping through the eye, the Bon Marin reaches the far side of Poseidon's Eye and explores it, finding lumber. This far side of the island faces the English. If the French develop it, it could make for a decent springboard to attack the English with. Elsewhere at the Eye, the Coeur du Lion finds several cargo crates. She's only able to load 1, however, choosing to load a crate with minerals. A storm threatens the French home island, forcing them to evacuate. Fortunately, the various town upgrades they have on their home island will not be damaged by the storm, should it move over their home island. The Guashan loads a town and trading port upgrade, and with an extra action, moves toward the Lumber Island, double boosted by both Jones and Behemoth copying Kalos. At the end of their turn, the Cursed launched 2 ships, Rook's Folly with Vlad von Brunswick, a captain and helmsman, and the Mammon Bridget with a helmsman. An overhead shot of English waters. The new additions to the Gold Fleet get underway on their maiden trip to the Minerals Island. At the end of their turn, the English launched 2 ships at Fort Brompton. HMS Pacificum, with Lord Micron, Captain, Oarsman, and Alliance Pact. HMS Pride, with Lord Cutler Beckett, Helmsman, and Oarsman. El Dorado docks at home, revealing a Silver 3 and Silver 5, worth 16 total gold. At the end of their turn, the Spanish scraped their gold together and launched the Colecta del Dia, with a helmsman. Pirate gold ships ride the current and take a longer way to ease logistics at the home island. Destiny's Bounty and Fancy make land at a gold island and a resource island. The Cutlass and Knife's Edge are just behind them, keeping watch in newer waters. A wide shot of pirate waters. Their fleet has spread out slowly to cover most of the northeastern sea, with ships sailing to and from Sharktooth and Artaka, and ships beginning to explore Voyanui. The Cheyenne eliminates another pesky iceberg from American waters. An overhead shot of the American home island. The Carolina, James Madison, and Columbia have all loaded a town upgrade. The Columbia has also loaded the infantry stationed on the home island. Given an extra action, the Columbia gets underway and makes for the shallow sea. At the end of their turn, the Americans launched the Rattlesnake with a helmsman, colonizer, and oarsman, and the Lamon with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, marine, and oarsman. Wary of the storm, the French dumped their cargoes of lumber on a gold island near their home island. The Bon Marin transits through the Eye of Poseidon. The storm proves the French right to be cautious as it moves over their home island. In the southeastern sea, the Urchin and Celestin find new islands for the cursed. The Urchin explores, finding golden goodies and eventually spices. Celestin is just short of the portal island. Jones returns to Kanohi Island, boosting the canoe fleet, Mammon Bridget and La Monarca. Elsewhere, the Guishon makes land at the Lumber Island, sharing space with Squaluk, the Pestilence, and Apuhau's Jewel. In the background, Calypsos and the Spilled Salt are visible around Skull Rock. At their home island, Vlad von Brunswick directs the Rook's Folly east, toward the new islands. The Sea Monkey, Dark Pact, and Sea Duck have all returned home with medicine. The Cursed use the gold from that medicine to launch several ships at the end of their turn. Mistwalker, Nightmare from Ocean's Edge with helmsman, Sea Rat with helmsman, Loa's Justice with helmsman, Strix with navigator, and Demon Gate with Barst, captain and oarsman. Hermes Sandals enters the shallow sea and explores one of the twin islands. The English are surprised to find that this island has already been explored. The Cheshire and Aberdeen Baron reach the Minerals Island and load full cargoes. The Antelope looks to sail beyond. At the end of their turn, the English launch 2 submarines. Nautilus, with Christian Fior, captain, helmsman, marine, and oarsman. Nautilus II, with Victoria Helsing, captain, helmsman, cannoneer, 2 marines, and an oarsman. The mercenaries don't have generic marine crew, but the English do. Alliance Pact on the Pacificum allows them to place these marines on those subs, however. And that wraps up this report. The English have begun the submarine arms race. The Cursed and Americans are beginning to prosper while the Spanish and French see their fortunes begin to turn. If you want to see what happens next, make sure you're subscribed. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.